So I have myself here my nice roll of blue, and I'm going to show you how to put a, like, I don't know what to call it, an eyebrow? No, that'd be on the headlights. One of the windshield banners. It's like a tent strip, but with vinyl. A vinyl strip, I guess. Windshield vinyl strip. Let's go with that. So all you're going to really need is your kit, which I cover in this video. And you're going to need your selection of vinyl, and it takes about 20-30 minutes depending on if you're doing it by yourself. If you have someone else doing it, you can probably do it in 5-6 minutes. Whatever, let's just get started. Just take your measuring tape, go basically how far down you're going to go. You want to start there and go over, I don't know, just a little bit. So we're going to 55 inches, give me plenty of room. You may do this a little bit differently depending on how it looks. Yep, 55 inches. Since we know we need 55 inches, we can just simply roll out 55 inches. I like to roll it upside down because you've got this nice straight grid you can cut on. Now you're going to need tape to go ahead and hold it in place. Your measuring tape, because eventually you're going to figure out how high you want it down. We're just going to do guesswork here. It's not going to be precise. It doesn't need to be at this point. I'm just going to find the edge of the glass, wherever the heck it is, way down here. Just run it down, say, right around 10 inches or so. Now I'm inside the car just trying to get a feel for how far that comes down. And it obviously comes down way too far. So let's adjust. So now you got your position right where you want it. You need to go ahead and mark the line on this side. Ignore the other side for now. But you need to mark this side. Now to do that, if there's a window seal right here, I go ahead, a glass seal, I go ahead and come over to the edge of the dot matrix and find, say, one of the bumps, and I'll mark the height right there. You don't have to mark the angle of it, you just want where this edge meets right there to be the exact height where you want it. Now what I'll do is measure from this dot to this edge of the glass. Go ahead, go to the other side, move that to 9.5. Now I generally, especially if it's a customer's car, just clean the whole glass while I'm there. I've got the vinyl sprayed with water, and now I'm going to go spray the windshield with water. No soap, just plain water. And this is where you got to start working decently quick. I'm going to spray the paint all around here so it doesn't stick to the paint. Now do not lose your straight edge. Not the edge you cut with the scissors, the edge that came with the like nice pretty straight vinyl edge. If you're having issues with it trying to stick too fast, a little bit of water to it, which is what I'm about to do. Make sure it's nice and pulled tight on the bottom edge. Your main concern right now is this straight edge right here. Once you get it nice, straight, even, leveled out, you can move on. There we go. You just keep tugging on it, going back and forth and just kind of pulling that tension out of it. But we need to set this front edge before we can pull the rest of this stuff off. And that's easy to do. Just grab your squeegee. And, well, squeegee out the water. If you have any big wrinkles like this, well, then you need to reset it. And pull that out. I just lifted that up, didn't I? There we go. Use the sun to see the glare across the windshield. or across the vinyl on the windshield. And what I'm doing is I'm checking for any spots that I missed to squeegee down to get the water out. No shrinking is going to be needed on this one. If you end up getting fingers up in here, either A, you can let it sit here in the sun and just keep squeegeeing that water out, or B, you can take a heat gun to it. Now with plain water, you're really not going to have that problem because you saw some fingers start to form, and when I swooped them away, boom, it was done. Because the windshield's nice and warm, the vinyl's nice and warm, it's going to evaporate that water like that. You got to be really, really, really careful. It is very easy to mess it up because there may be water still underneath this edge. Because if you have an edge here, and say there's water up underneath the back edge of the vinyl, the second you put any tension on it, it's going to suck that water back up underneath it. And all I'm doing here is pressing into the edge so I can see where the edge of the glass is as I come up to it. And yeah, there's still some water in it. I can see the vinyl coming up a little bit. Yep. Now the reason you leave all this material up here is it applies tension across the windshield. So when you go to cut this, you have less of a risk of that, or you have pretty much no risk of the vinyl, say, getting a little bit of water underneath it and slipping. Because if it slips, then you have a jagged edge right here and it looks crappy. If you have a seal here, like a windshield seal, I'll discuss how to deal with the two versions of that windshield seal in a second after I cut this. So what you're going to do, now there's technically a couple ways to do this. You can do it where the blade's on the outside and then you shrink the edge of the vinyl around. That usually doesn't stick all that well, especially without a seal here. So I take it on the inside here and I score it across using the edge of the windshield as a guide. Now you need to be careful. There's the seal of the windshield up underneath there. So you do not want more than a little tip of your blade out, just to make sure. And I'm starting in the middle, just so there's no tension. A little too warm. There we go. Now I'm just using this as a good example. Say you have yourself that like a windshield seal. Say it's this much, okay, and it'll be flat. So what you do before you throw down the banner is you tape off that seal. Put 2 layers of tape on it. That just helps protect it so that you don't accidentally hit it with the blade. Okay, so you have this. Say that's the seal of the car. You got your 2 layers of tape over it. You just run this up to the edge. Don't bother coming up and making sure it's perfect. You don't want to do that. So you got this all down, and you would come through right along this edge, just slightly above the trim line. That's very janky, but I'm trying to work around the camera here. And you have that. And you would take this edge, peel it all up. Then you use that little hook tool that I have, and it'll hook around the edge of the window seal, and you just tuck it. Boom. So you do run into issues when, say it has a aftermarket windshield, or a secondhand windshield, whatever, a new one, and whoever glued it in glued the seal down. I've seen this quite a few times, especially it seems like every old Civic I do, like 90s Civic, has this problem. So you'll peel the vinyl up to the edge, take your hard edge, squeegee literally right up to the edge of it, and just leave the vinyl sitting straight up. Doesn't matter where it's at. You can fold it over if you want to, but I find it stays better if you do that. And then you'll take this along the edge of the glass and the seal, and there you go. You have a perfect edge. Give you one last look at it and say thanks for all the support. Don't forget, subscribe, because there's a bunch more of this stuff coming.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school.